Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Lucy's Inspiring Stories. Now, today's conversation is for anyone who has ever felt busy all day and still wonders, why am I not getting the things done that truly matter? I mean, really, how many of you have felt that way? I know that I have. So I'm so excited to introduce Cindy Baker because what she teaches goes far beyond productivity. Cindy helps people, especially those who are beautifully busy and have creative minds. She helps them move from overwhelm into calm, consistent momentum. And so if that sounds like you, then you're going to enjoy this conversation. So I'd like to welcome now Cindy Baker. Cindy, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
You're
Good
very
to be here.
welcome. Thank you. Where are you coming in from?
So I'm in Memphis, Tennessee,
Okay.
a suburb of Memphis, and I just got a new puppy, and so if hopefully he won't bark, but
Well,
he's
that's
in the
okay.
background.
Cindy, I'm a firm believer that the alive is alive, and if the dog comes in barking, then that's part of the life. So let's not worry too much about it, okay? I don't want you to just be relaxed and let's just have a good time.
Yeah.
So, there's so much that I want to talk to you about, but I do want to focus on, what you really do because I find it very fascinating. Yeah, I want to know really what was that moment like when you were diagnosed with ADHD as an adult? And I want to know how that changed the way you saw yourself.
Yeah. So I was working with adolescents at the time,
Mhm.
and a lot of them had ADHD, and I saw the symptoms in myself. And I thought, I think I have this. And so I got diagnosed as an adult. And it was like a light bulb went on. I looked back on my life through that new lens, and things started to click, started to make sense, um, why I'd had certain struggles or different things had happened. So it was very helpful for me.
Oh, I'm sure that I've never been diagnosed, but I do think I believe I do have it also. And I was a teacher, for a good part of my life, and I know that I had lots of students who had ADHD, and really they were on heavy duty drugs, and so are kids still taking these drugs today?
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of parents would come to me. I was a school counselor before I was a teacher, and they would say, well, I'm going to get my child diagnosed, and thinking I'm just going to put them on medicine and that's going to solve everything.
Right.
And nothing wrong with medicine. That's between you and your doctor. But I always say pills are not skills. You still have to learn the skills. Um, and so, if the medicine helps you focus, but you don't know what to focus on, or you can't manage your time or things like that, then you still have to learn those skills.
Right. I
Yeah.
love I love that pills are not skills.
Now, I have all these mantras. My coaching clients kind of laugh because
I
of
love
all
that.
the sayings.
Yeah. I hope if that's something that you coined, I hope that I can use it too because it says so much, doesn't it? So,
Mhm.
I know that you've also walked through something very profound with your health. You are a cancer survivor, if I'm not mistaken, right?
No, that's not me. That
That's
might
not
be a
you
different
did
person.
not you didn't have cancer? Okay.
No.
Okay, I thought I read that you did. So what other health benefit or health issues did you ever have in life other than being diagnosed with ADHD?
Yeah, well, that's the main reason that I started my coaching business was the ADHD. Of course, I have other allergies and things like that, but I'm not a cancer survivor.
Right.
So Yeah.
I don't know where I got that from. Because I was reading all about you today, so I don't know where that came from. But anyway, my mistake. So let's talk about people. People feel really broken when they can't follow the traditional systems. What do you want them to understand about their brain and how it actually works?
Yeah. A lot of people feel shame unnecessarily because they're trying to do things the traditional way and it's not working.
Hmm.
Um, and so one of the things that I do is help people understand how their brain is wired and how to work with it instead of fighting against it. Um, and that's really helpful. So they're not broken. Their brain's not broken. It's just the system that's broken.
Oh,
You
that
know,
that,
they're
that hard
not
to
they're not
swallow.
using things that are really for a busy creative brain.
Hmm.
You know.
So we
Mhm.
have a long way to go because having been a teacher for 35 years, I know that the system doesn't work for a lot of the young adults today. So there's a lot of work to be done. So but that's another story altogether. I took your quiz and I discovered that I'm a deadline driver.
Oh, okay.
Can you explain what that means and why pressure sometimes helps people like me?
Yeah. So people like that wait until the last minute to
Hmm.
do things because they get that spark of dopamine right at the end when there's that urgency.
Hmm.
And so one of the things that you have to do is create your own sense of urgency.
Hmm.
And it's a habit that you have to learn and you have to practice. So if you have a big project, for instance, that isn't due right away, you'll want to break up that project into small steps and make your own deadlines, along the way. And then each time you reach a milestone, you want to celebrate it. So you get that reward. You don't want to wait all the way till the end, or you're going to lose motivation, you know.
And I think that's really important. I've learned that, I learned that late in life that those little wins, people think you only celebrate the big wins, but the little wins are just as important. And to take the time to really pat yourself on the back for those little wins, it's
Yes,
really
it
important.
is. It's important because, you know, so many times we wait for somebody else to recognize when we make progress and then we beat ourselves up. We might do 10 things right all day and we do one thing wrong and that's all we can think about, you know.
You're right about
So
that.
it's important. One of the things that we do, I have a group coaching program, and when we meet on Zoom, I always make everyone share at least one win. And so they have to think of something.
Right.
It could be personal or business related. But I think that's important to just help them build that habit of each day thinking of what was my win today? What did I do well? What did I make progress in? And that's important, I think.
Yeah, I think it's really about most important because I know it changes my life. It's the same thing as I equate it with when you have a negative thinking thought or something to sit down to pause and be grateful. Be
Yeah.
grateful for something that you have or for the person that you are. You know, you
Mhm.
and it's the same thing. It's like patting yourself on the back a little bit.
Yeah, gratitude is very beneficial. In fact, there've been all these scientific studies on neuroscience, and gratitude actually makes new neural pathways in your brain, and so you begin to look at things differently. So doing things like a gratitude journal every day and things like that have really been beneficial to some of my clients.
Yeah, and it has helped me too tremendously. Why do so many smart and capable people stay stuck in the gap between knowing and doing?
Yeah, and that is the gap, isn't it? Because they have good intentions,
Yeah.
um, but they don't follow through. And so many times people are waiting to feel like doing something. And I always, it's another one of my mantras. I always say, waiting for motivation is never a good strategy. It's not going to descend upon you when the wind blows a certain way.
Yeah.
You have to be able to get started and take action before you feel motivated, and then the motivation comes after. And so there's some little brain tricks that you can do. I mean, for instance, there's something called the 3 minute rule. So you tell yourself, well, I only have to do this for 3 minutes. And it just lowers the resistance in your brain. It makes it much easier to start.
Mm,
And after 3 minutes, it's long enough that many times the momentum kicks in and you want to keep going. But it just makes it easier to start. Another trick is just, like I mentioned before, to break things up.
mhm.
Each completed project starts with the tiniest action, even a laughably small action. So sometimes you just have to kind of uh, talk yourself into something. For instance, if I were going to write a report and it just seemed overwhelming and I've been procrastinating on it, don't want to do it, um, I could just say, well, you know what? I'm going to walk into the room where the computer is.
What's a
I can
big
do
win?
that. I can do that, right? I'm going to sit in the chair by the computer and you just tiny little actions, I'm going to open up the laptop. I'm going to open up the document. I'm going to see where I left off. I'm going to write the next sentence. You just talk yourself into the next, what is the next right thing to do? Can I take this little tiny step? Um, and then sometimes that overwhelm starts to get a little lower and you start to go, okay, I'm gonna take a deep breath. I can do this one little step at a time. But there are a lot of other little
You know,
tricks.
I'm laughing, Cindy, because it's tax time, and I
Oh
can't tell
yeah,
you how much I've been
everyone
putting
loves
off.
that, right?
And when you were talking about, going into the room, I just, okay, okay, my computer's there. Open it up, Lucy.
Yeah,
Get your workout, look at it. And
I
so,
know.
as you were saying that, I was just thinking of myself just yesterday or the day before, just doing that. It was like, oh my God, it's something that I just dislike doing so much, but it has to be done. But, and I'm not waiting till the last minute because April 15th is like, a month away. So I've improved a lot. If I started yesterday, I'm ahead of the game as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it, it's easier to kick yourself into gear if you wait until the last minute, but that's a very stressful way to
It is.
live.
It is.
Costs that you're paying. So, um, it takes a little bit of practice to do it another way. But once you get into the habit, you can remember, well, last time I started earlier and it was a lot less stressful. So I'm
Right.
going to do that again, and you remember.
And
Yeah.
you're so right because last year I postponed the tax for October, and I swore that I wouldn't do that this year, and I felt so much better. And so it's amazing. It's amazing. That one simple shift that someone can make today to move from overwhelm into action is really important. Do you have any other little, you know, tools for us like that we can,
Oh, yeah.
move?
I'm full of it.
I bet you
Let's see.
are.
Give me an area that you think your listeners struggle in.
Well, I think they're overwhelmed. For example, they're overwhelmed with the AI situation
Mm.
today, and how it's going to affect their business, and they really don't know where to start. And
Yeah.
so that would.
Yeah, and the thing about AI is it's a tool,
Mhm.
when it's used as a tool, uh, it could be very helpful. It collapses time,
Right.
Um, but when you're trying to use it to replace yourself, some people are doing that. I don't like that. I like real. I think people are craving real now.
Mhm.
Um, you can't rely on selling information as much anymore because now your $500 course that you were selling, somebody can just go ask AI for that and it'll spit it out in
10
2
minutes. Yeah.
minutes. Um, and so that's why something like my coaching is so beneficial because AI cannot replace my guidance, my personal relationships with the people, with the nuances that I notice and
Mhm.
can help guide them, in specifics. And so the more that they can just, people who are in business, the more they can rely on personal relationships and the personal touch, I think they're going to do well because I think that's what people want nowadays. People
Yeah.
are getting tired of, you know, they don't trust anymore because you don't know what's real. And so the more that you can provide real guidance from your own real experience, not some tips that you read in a book somewhere, but you know, uh, personal guidance that's going to be helpful.
Yeah.
And I think that's why you don't have to have ADHD to go through my program. I'd say over half don't, but the ones who do happen to have ADHD really appreciate the fact that I have it as well, because then they know, okay, you're telling me something that you understand and
Right.
that you've practiced in your own life and has made a difference in your clients' lives.
Hmm.
Um, and even people who don't have ADHD appreciate that kind of ADHD friendly way of looking at things. Because a lot of people will say, "Well, I just wish I had more time in the day." And now they think AI is going to solve all that. But you don't need more hours in the day. You just need to do what matters in the time that you
Mhm.
have. So it's more about managing your focus and your attention than it is managing time.
Managing time, yeah. Because there's
Mhm.
no way that you can manage time. How can you manage time?
No,
You have to,
I
you
mean
can
it's
manage
going to
activities.
tick away whether you know you can't do anything about it.
No, absolutely not. You talk about creating calm, consistent momentum. What does that actually look like in real life?
Yeah, well, I have an acronym, the Calm Momentum Method. Um, and
Momentum.
what that looks like in real life is finishing things that are important,
Mm.
not being all over the place, being undistracted and focused on the important things. And um, one of the things that I ask my clients to do is to, I mean, they may have a long to-do list, and sometimes it's helpful, do a brain dump, write everything down, but then pick your top three high impact tasks that you're going to focus on that day. No more than three, maybe one big one and two supporting ones. And of course, if you get finished with all that, you can go tackle your to-do list. But if you don't do that, what's going to happen is you're going to look at your list and everything on the list is going to look equally important.
Right,
That happens, nothing gets done, or you grab for the low-hanging fruit and you do the easy things
right.
and uh, you never get around to doing, you get to the end of the day and like you said at the beginning, you're busy, you were busy, you're tired, but what did you really accomplish? Did you really move the needle in your
Exactly.
business? And if you're not prioritizing revenue producing activities, then you're just going to be shuffling papers around or files on your computer all day, answering emails and things like that, and
Never
not
getting what truly matters
not
done.
making any
Yeah.
sales.
Right,
And if you
exactly.
do that, you're not going to have a very successful business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you believe, because there was a time when I had a to-do list and then I got discouraged because the to-do list was looking like too long and then it overwhelmed me. So I thought, well, instead I'll do the don't do list. And so that helped me a little bit. Like don't go through your emails at first thing in the morning, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that helped me prioritize. And I don't know why that helped me more than the to-do list. I mean, do you see some value in
Yeah.
that yourself? I mean,
Yeah. And you're sort of setting up rules for yourself or structure.
hmm.
And I think that's helpful. Some people even keep a done list so that they feel good about themselves when they finish something. They write a list of all the things they did so they can look at it and feel better. But when you have a long to-do list, that's why it's important to operate with that rule of three. Pick the top three. Um, and you have things that are super important, things that the outcome really matters. If you do this thing, it's going to make a big difference. If you don't do this thing, it's going to have a really negative consequence. Those are what we call high impact tasks. And
Mm.
you want to prioritize those first because if you don't, your day is going to fill up with all of the filler stuff, the emails and the interruptions um, and and then you won't get the important things done. So always put those important things in first and then schedule everything else around it. And those important things can be life things too. So if you're not um, scheduling your time according to your values, you're going to feel out of
Yep.
alignment. If you say your family is important, but you schedule uh, work up until time to go to sleep and you never spend any time with your family, it's
Not
gonna
very
bother you,
productive,
you
right?
know?
Hmm.
So you have to put those big rocks in first. Like I don't know if you've heard the illustration of the jar, and you put the big rocks in first, and then the pebbles, and then the sand. If you do it the other way around, it's not gonna fit.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
I what I do, I mean, I think it took me years to learn this, but because I needed to balance my life, when I take I usually on a Sunday is when I prepare for the week, and I don't prepare it rigidly because I don't like too much structure, and I like, but anyway, I usually put the fun things down first.
Okay.
I play tennis twice a week, so I put that there. And I like to play duplicate bridge, so I put that down. And, lunch is really important for me because I have to, because of my health and I want to be healthy and
Hmm.
strong. And so, I- do you have suggestions like that for people to keep their balanced, because if you don't balance your life, then you're miserable.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just said it. You have to prioritize taking care of yourself. And fun is part of that.
Yeah.
And you don't want to schedule every waking moment. You want to have a little bit of flexibility in there, a little bit of white space.
White space. I love white space.
Unexpected things are going to happen. They're just going to happen. And you have to have some margin to accommodate that. So yeah, physical health, very important. Uh, I go to an exercise class Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I schedule my work around it.
Yeah.
It's a weird time of day. It doesn't start till 9:30 in the morning. And so I work, or it starts at 9:45 actually. And so I work from 8 to 9:30. I
Mhm.
just live 15 minutes from the gym. And then I go to the exercise class and then I rush home and change my shirt and I'm on an 11 o'clock Zoom call, but I got the exercise in and I run and I do that early in the morning. Um, I go to church. I make that a priority. I sing in the choir. So I've got a lot of Easter coming up and all these rehearsals and that's important to me. Spending time with my family. I have grandkids. I got this new dog who
Sweet. Yeah.
needy right now. Uh, and so yeah, if all you do is work all the time, I mean, you have to realize you're never going to be finished, especially if you're an
Exactly.
entrepreneur. You're
Right.
never going to be finished. I mean, there's a gajillion things that I wish I could do in my business, and I just get to a certain stopping point at the end of the day, and that's it.
Hmm.
I just can't do it all. And you have to learn to be okay with that, and have different things you're working on one at a time, so that you're not pulled in a bunch of different directions.
I think you call yourself a productivity coach, right? So what are the biggest productivity traps that you see people fall into?
Well, I mean, one I just mentioned, they try to schedule too many
Right.
things. They
Hmm.
try to focus on too many things. So limit the number of tasks. You can always add more.
Right.
Um, and you can
And always
have a
add more,
you can
right?
have a list, but I always tell people put that list in the parking lot. And you know it's there. You can get to it later,
Mm,
but um, just pick those three things to focus on. That's one thing. Um, I think another is what I mentioned about motivation is people think they have to feel motivated
hmm
in order to be productive. And, all that time that you spend wasted scrolling on social media and all those things, I mean, that's not just procrastination. You're actually giving away your dreams. Every little unplanned break, uh, you're wasting time, and time is precious. You can't get it back.
Right.
So, yeah.
You mentioned that everyone is created on purpose for a purpose. I love that. Created
Mhm.
on purpose for a purpose. How does that belief influence your work?
Yeah, so uh it does a lot. I'm a Christian, and I in fact I just started a Substack where I'm kind of branching out, and it's called Faithful Focus. So if
Oh,
you're
wonderful.
interested in the faith part of my life, that's where that outlet is.
hmm
Um, and but in my business, even though I might have people in my program that don't believe the same way I do, I look at them through the lens of realizing that they're a valuable person that has been created for a reason, and that if they happen to have ADHD, it's there for a reason, and they have something to contribute that I need to help pull out of them so that they can fulfill their purpose. Um, and so, yeah, and it helps me handle stress. So some people journal. Well, I can talk to God, and give him all my worries, and that helps me. Um, I mentioned singing. I love singing, so that's a good stress outlet.
hmm
But it definitely, I mean, that's my worldview, just like anybody's worldview affects everything that they do.
Right.
So which is another reason that I'm not a big fan of fake things. I try to be authentic, try to be ethical, um, and I think people appreciate that.
When you say fake things, what are you referring to? Can you?
Well, and there's nothing, this is some people's business plan, and that's fine. But some people want to duplicate themselves and make an AI avatar where they're making a video and it's not really them.
Okay.
That I guess that's okay, but
It's kind of a waste of time. Yeah.
I don't like doing that for
Yeah.
me. It's just not me. I don't like having a bot answer in my name as if it's me. I'd rather just say, this is Cindy's bot or her VA or whatever. Just be honest. I don't like uh, sales techniques where you're creating fake urgency when it's really not there and things like that. I don't like manipulation. Um, maybe I'd make more money if it was like
No,
that.
but you see it
It's not
you see
me.
it all the time, and all these funnels that when people do these challenges, it's like, oh my God, now what?
Mhm.
But you're right. It is just annoying to me.
Yeah. And you can have urgency. It just
Yeah,
needs to be legit. Like I really do. If I say, this price is going up in 4 days, then I really do raise the price in 4 days. Or
yeah.
if the bonuses are going away, I really don't give the bonuses to people that are late in ordering. Just be honest.
hmm
Mhm.
What becomes possible for someone when they finally learn to work with their brain instead of against it? What happens? What
Well, I mean, one of the biggest things is follow through. Instead of just having good intentions,
right,
they're starting to see some traction in their life and business like they haven't seen in a long time. They're starting to finish things that are important, starting to make more money, starting to save hours in their week, and reaching their goals.
right.
That's exciting.
That is very exciting. Listen, Cindy, this is a powerful reminder that we don't need to become someone else to succeed, really. We just need to understand ourselves, better and honor that we're uniquely wired, for one thing. And so thank you for making that a reality for us. I think that's really very important. Where can people connect with you? I know that you have a book, Focus to Fortune,
Hmm.
and they can get that on Amazon if they want. Focus to Fortune by Cindy Baker. Where's the best way for them to connect with you to learn more
Yeah,
about
I'll
you?
give you some links where I can give them some free gifts, and that will put them on my email list. I give a
Yeah, and you
newsletter
must take the
once a
test. It's
week.
so much fun and so
And there's a
it's so
quiz.
on.
Yeah. Take the quiz.
Yeah.
But my website is just cindybakercoaching.com. There is a contact form on there. And I read every body's response. So if you have a question or you want to be added to my email list, anything like that, just fill out that contact form and I will get back in touch with you.
Thank you. Thank you. Cindy, there's something about your message that feels so timeless, and it's not just about productivity, it's about how we live, isn't it? Wouldn't you agree
Yeah.
with that?
Yeah, it is.
So I want to thank you and I want to thank my audience for being here. And I'll see you again next week for another Lucy's Inspiring Stories. Bye for now.
Great. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.